So you've put the orange and the black aside, correct, Cody, in making some of these projections for 2023? Because not everyone's high on Oklahoma State, and I'm being kind. I'm
I
basically
know.
saying nobody's high on Oklahoma State.
Right. Correct. Well, so if you look back historically, whether it be because it was forced or he decided to do it himself, regardless of the scenario and the situation, Mike Gundy has a history of responding after bad seasons, right? Us being in bowl games for 17 years in a row, that's great. Winning is good. Having the opportunity to play for some Big 12 titles, that's good. We all know we need to capitalize and take that next step. But let's talk about this season. All right, specifically when it comes to the schedule, we play, when it comes to the preseason rankings, we're the only team that plays every single team ranked below us. The only other two teams that are ranked ahead of us that are on our schedule are Kansas State and OU. We have both of those at home. Yeah, you would typically chalk both of those up to a loss. That is fair until we beat OU. It is what it is. But I will also have the argument of the last time we thought it was the last Bedlam ever in Stillwater, we showed up, showed out, and got it done against the eventual Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. So it can be done. And the simplicity offensively is what really trips my trigger this year.
I'm seeing 129 career starts coming back on this offensive line. Losing Spencer Sanders, replace him with Alan Bowman. I don't necessarily know if that's a good trade. However, Bowman played a couple decent half to three-quarter seasons at Texas Tech, and he's been kind of lost off the college football map for a couple of years now. He comes back to lead the offense, correct? Or do we still have a quarterback battle?
No. It's never really necessarily been a battle, but the backup quarterback, Garrett Rangel, did gain 17 pounds in the offseason. He did shave a couple tenths of a second off of his 40. He's clearly improved on his throwing motion. He's been working with that with the Timurte for a little while now. But Alan Bowman does make throws that blow your mind. He's the guy that'll go 49 for 50 into the net. Legitimately speaking, it has happened. But sometimes when they go scrimmage and it goes live, sometimes he misses some windows. He makes some crazy throws that are NFL caliber, and then he makes some head-scratching throws. So this is, again, why I say the simplicity of the offense is going to bail him out. This is not the Oklahoma State most people are used to. We're not going out there with the objective of putting up 65, 75 points. That is what most people still think about Oklahoma State University. And when some people talk about this season specifically, people are still talking about how Mike Gundy's offense can keep him in the game. That is true, but it's going to be different. You're going to see under center. In Stillwater, America, you're going to see quarterback under center. You're going to see traditional I formation, diamond formation, fullback, tight ends. We're going old school. The battle between Oklahoma State and Kansas State will be a war because of the stylistic matchup that it's going to be.
I'm going to get you revved up on defense using one name, and he no longer plays for you, but Mason Cobb is a guy that obviously was a big loss. He moves on to USC. So take me through the defense and why you're pumped up about the defense.
Mason Cobb is a massive loss, right? There's literally nobody out there that can say otherwise. But we did bring in Justin Wright, who, yes, he played at Tulsa, but good and daggone well. It's hard to replace numbers. He had 121 tackles at Tulsa his junior year, 102 tackles at Tulsa his senior year. You cannot replicate that type of production, right? That doesn't just come magically. And I've already said it. He is Justin Wright, the transfer middle linebacker from Tulsa. He is that Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, chew your kneecaps off type of linebacker. Is he going to do what Mason Cobb did? No, absolutely not. Because athletically, they're two different people. But when it comes to, again, simplicity, filling the gaps, being sound in your responsibilities, and making chaos happen in the backfield, that's going to be Justin Wright's cup of taters. So is he going to be Mason Cobb? No. Is he going to do a job that we need to do? Yes. And we have recently moved to the 3-3-5 defense with new defense coordinator Brian Nardo. And, at first, most people think Brian Nardo is an off-the-wall hire. Where's this coming from? This is another, prototypical, where did Gundy get this guy type of hire. But then you dig back, he's got a rare past. He started coaching under Tom Solich at Ohio while he was in college, right? So he was a student holding a clipboard, learning how to handle meetings, learning how to do recruiting. And then his ascension through the game of football, it's been a meteoric rise, I guess you could say. His entire family coaches. This is the tree that he knew he was going to step into. And then when he was at smaller universities, you got to think about it. He knew he would go into 300 houses on recruiting, right? And know that he was going to get 280 no's. So if there's anybody out there that has learned to perfect the recruiting game at such a young age, it is him. And you're seeing that right now with just some of the recruits that we have coming in. People want to talk about the number all the time. That's fine. But when you go look at the film, we've got a defensive commit named Landon Cleveland who's out there recruiting for us, just like you would see out of a big-time quarterback. Brian Nardo is the injection of the defense we need. Colin Oliver, the All-American defensive end as a true freshman, has now been moved to linebacker. That's another fulfillment of the void there going to be left by Mason Cobb. And then obviously to top it off at the linebacker position, you have Xavier Benson coming back, who also played at Texas Tech and had a productive season last year statistically. But he will even tell you that defensively, they just got caught in the wrong schemes. They got caught in the wrong gaps, doing the wrong things, trying to do extra as opposed to just filling the simple responsibilities. And with the ability, the speed, the athleticism, and the depth that we have at the safety position, we're going to be able to do some things that are a little bit different. So 3-3-5 is a 4-2-5 base with the extra guy, right? The extra guy is typically the nickel corner style of guy. Well, it's not the case this year. Our extra guy is going to be somebody that's 6'4", 230 pounds, and runs a 4.4. It's a Von Miller type of guy instead of a nickel type of guy.
7-6 last year. If you've made your final prediction, I'll take it here. If not, we want to direct everybody over to Cody's channel. So, have you made that final record prediction?
I'm pretty comfortable right now. You know, without the bowl game, I'd say 10-2 is very achievable. Yes, sir.
All right.
Again, we play 6 teams ranked below us. The two hardest teams that we have are at home. We don't play Texas. We don't play Texas Tech. Well, I mean, if he can stay healthy, right, that's the ticket. He's the only quarterback in the Big 12 that's thrown for over 600 yards. That's something. We all saw what he could do at Texas Tech. And then he's had two punctured lungs, broken collarbone, broken ankle. He has been a walking piece of glass. It just is what it is. If we can protect him, and he's way different than Spencer Sanders. He's not going to break out of the pocket unless it's absolute necessity. He's going to try to pick you apart from within the pocket. And since we finally have we haven't had a legitimate 2 deep on the offensive line in at least 7-8 years. If that holds up and we have the power at the running game that I think we're going to have, we got the transfer from Michigan State, Elijah Collins, who rushed for like 988 yards a couple of years ago before, Walker went off and did his thing. He is a good guy to have, and he might not even be the starting running back. Ollie Gordon was somebody that Texas went after heavy. We got to see what he could do a little bit last year. He should have been the starter last year, in a lot of people's opinion. The running game and the offensive line are going to allow Alan Bowman to not have to do as much. Spencer Sanders had to do way too much. So if Spencer Sanders was off, we were off. It just was what it was. That is not going to be asked of Alan Bowman. He's going to be more than a game manager, but he's not going to be a guy that's asked to chunk it down the field all the daggone time. Nor is he going to be a guy that's going to be asked to rush the football. Our O-line and our running game with the fullback and tight end that we brought in, these things are why I think Alan Bowman could have a very good year.